Thank you for tuning in to Rankings of Uncut. Of course, I'm Jonah Willard along with Clayton Guillory. It's going down. Finally, everything that has been leading up all season long, Clay, from preseason to not knowing if we was going to have football or not, to finally getting on some football fields, start playing some national competition and getting the rankings started late, just because we didn't know. We didn't know what this season was going to bring. But, man, it comes finally to this 1 week of national competition. And kind of touch on it right now. You know, you're already at IMG, chilling in the hotel, getting ready to see some of the best competition in youth football. And tonight we unveil those rankings and those top teams that will be competing the 7th through the 12th.
You know, and it's been entertaining, Jonah, because as we sit back, man, and just kind of watch what people have been, kind of putting out on social media. Everybody's got their own version of the rankings. Everybody's got their own version of what the bracket should look like. I mean, it's entertaining. It's really entertaining. Everybody likes to tell us how to do our job, So,
right.
Man, I can't wait for this stuff to come out so we can see the good, so we can see the criticism, and most importantly, see these kids on the most competitive stage in youth football at the most prestigious football high school institute in the country, man. It's going to be great, man. I'm excited. I looked at the weather forecast on game days from Tuesday to Saturday. Every day the weather gets better and better and better. Man, it's all go, baby. It's all go.
It's all go, man. So listen, thank you people for tuning in. We'll pay attention to some of your comments. I know we'll have some coaches who don't want to, really play certain teams at certain first round matchups, but hey, it's football, man. Eventually, you're gonna have to play the team that you may not want to play. But listen, as a coach, it's a great stage. Why wouldn't you want to play any and everybody? Listen, if I was coaching, I would want to play everyone in the bracket. I wouldn't want to say, hey, give me a couple teams of it, give me everybody, so I can be the undisputed national champion. So, but that's just my opinion. We'll jump into 6U first before we get breaking down those matchups. Take a look at the 6U teams that, of course, punched their ticket to IMG this year at the YNC. Congratulations to those teams. And Clay, you can go ahead and read them off from top to bottom. And this is more or less most of the teams you've seen in the rankings all year.
Of course. So 6U is going to be an interesting age division. And every year it really is, because 6U for a lot of these kids is their first year of tackle. So you never really know how good a team is. So, we're looking at a 10-team bracket on 6U this year. We're going to have the New Orleans Dolphins, Red Dog Unit, Pac Prime, Orlando Outlaws, Bessemer Tigers, Hapeville Hornets, Cincinnati Bearcats, Duval Jaguars, world famous Jaguars, and the Fort Lauderdale Hurricanes. So everybody's been asking about the bracket. Everybody's asking about the bracket. Like, how's the bracket going to be structured? Everything like that. Normally, we don't release the bracket until the coaches meeting, but we're gonna give y'all a little skeet taste tonight. We're gonna give y'all a skeet taste tonight. We're going to reveal the first round matchups. We're not gonna tell you which side of the bracket you own. We're not gonna tell you who's getting the first round buys. We're just gonna release to you the first round matchups. We'll let you guys figure the rest of it out. And again, we won't release field assignments or game times until after the coaches meeting on Monday night. I mean, at the end of the day, we can't give you everything, because if we do, then we won't have no coaches at the coaches meeting. That's a lot of important information we need to discuss there. So, first round matchups in this 10-team bracket for 6U will be the world famous Jaguars versus the Hapeville Hornets, the Orlando Outlaws
Clay, before you even break down to the second one, let's back that matchup up.
World famous Jaguars versus Hapeville Hornets.
So Hapeville Hornets, you want to say that have been the best second team out of Georgia compared to RDU? And you watched the Jaguars yourself, man, coming out of day one and these two teams playing each other. You got really Georgia versus Texas, two different styles of football. Twin City, a very feisty team, and they're playing their best football right now at the end of the season. So exciting matchups between those two. And your next 6U matchup you have?
Orlando Outlaws versus the Bessemer Tigers.
Well, now definitely two different styles of football. Coach Rich over there, the Outlaws, a slash fast, and they want to say they have the best running back in 6U. Listen, we got a lot of teams on 6U saying they got the best running back this year, and it's arguably some of probably 5 of the best athletes in football at the 6 and under, man. And of course, God, listen, what can you say about, when Orlando comes in there trying to take on Bessemer? Bessemer, a steady football team, steady. When you're talking about a defense that's going to be piling on the hits, they've never seen each other all year. And so this is going to be some great action coming. I can't wait to see it, man. Bessemer versus the Outlaws, Florida. Alabama, man. What else can you do? Louisiana.
Next
too,
matchup.
Man.
Cincinnati Bearcats Elite versus the Duval Jaguars. Ohio versus Florida.
Man, well, the North versus the South. Here it goes again, man. Right here in IMG. I can't wait to see those two teams out. Cincinnati Bearcats has been a team that has not had a lot of pub. And we're going to make sure at Generation Next that we jump on those northern teams early. But they deserve all the credit in the world, man. Let them come down here and prove it on the football field. And that's what we want to make sure moving forward, that these northern teams get their opportunity to play some football on a big stage.
And then the final first-round matchup in 6U. And it's one that I think is going to be – it's going to be one that's going to draw a lot of people to the field. Pac Prime versus the Fort Lauderdale Hurricanes.
So listen, Coach Noddy does an excellent job with the Fort Lauderdale Hurricanes as a team collectively. They're going to give you a handful. They're going to want to come punch you in the mouth. They got running backs galore, but the defense flies to the ball. But, man, not just the Fort Lauderdale Hurricanes. Who has seen a kid like Aiden Smith anywhere in the country? And people, if you don't know who Aiden Smith is, man, that is the biggest 6U player I've seen ever. And I've been doing Generation Next since 2008. Ever.
Yeah. That's a big young man. That's a big young man.
I've watched his skill set increase throughout the year. Listen, you can tell he's through this. Early in the season, he ran the wrong way a couple times because he's a 6 and under kid. But now he's getting his skill set up where he's stiff-arming kids, and he's realizing how much bigger he is than anyone else. So Hurricanes will have their hands full. They'll need to swarm to the ball to stop Aiden Smith. Then they'll have a chance to win that game coming out in the first round.
So, like I said, man, 10-team bracket. You have 4 big first-round games. It's gonna be very interesting. I don't think anybody could go 4 for 4 and pick all 4 winners out of this bracket from that first round.
Right.
Man. It's definitely going to be something to watch.
And you'll be dismissed not to mention the 2 top teams in the country. No, they're not in that first round, so we kind of gave away that bye. But don't forget to mention those 2 top teams there, Clay.
Well, 2 top teams in the country, New Orleans Dolphins, and of course, you guys can do the math. We don't have to say it, but it'll be interesting to see how this bracket unfolds.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right, 7U. Woo.
7U. So, as we take a look at 7U, we'll roll through the teams here. So we have the Center Point Eagles from Alabama, world famous Jaguars from Texas, GTM Hurricanes from Florida, Boom Squad all the way from the West Coast, Brandon Bears from Florida, Slidell Hurricanes from Louisiana, Tampa Jaguars from Florida, and the Twin City Outlaws from Georgia. 8-team bracket for the 7U age division. So, I mean, I know who the favorite is because it's pretty much been one team that's been consensus number 1 across, 95% of the season?
Yeah, wire to wire, man.
Jonah, I mean, when you're talking about national championship playoff time at IMG, this thing could shake up a little bit, man.
You're right. You're right. Not a lot of teams have been able to hold serve one wire to wire and win the national championship. And those teams that have, of course, they've been legendary. You can mention them off the top of your head. But right now, 7 and under, it's a little different when you play these national competitions. Why? Not just a level of competition, but it's like a marathon. You have to save a little in the tank for the team the next day. You have to scout simultaneously. You have to stay injury-free. It's a lot that goes into winning a national championship. It's not just going like you're having your regular season game. And the experience of these coaches, I think, is going to be the difference of what wins the 7U championship. So let's jump into some of those brackets.
All right. So first round matchup. Center Point Eagles versus the Twin City Outlaws.
Off rip. Okay.
All
Twin
right.
City, they jump up in there.
So I got another good one for you right here. Boom Squad versus the Tampa Jaguars.
Oh, I love it. West Coast versus East Coast. California versus Florida. This argument goes on so much, man. And two of the best teams representing their states. That's going to be some straight action, man. Straight action. Off rip.
Now, your next matchup gives you two states that always argue that the best football in the country is played there. Texas versus Florida. You have the world famous Jaguars versus the Brandon Bears.
Man. Another great matchup. Man, it's just, I don't know where I'm going to be, man. There's too many games going on at once, Clay. Man, it's too much bouncing around.
Oh, most definitely. And then our final first round matchup on that 7U, you have the GTM Hurricanes versus the Slidell Hurricanes. Battle of the Hurricanes.
Man, listen, GTM undefeated on the season thus far. A solid team. They feel no one can beat them, and they may not. I mean, this may be GTM's Hurricanes year to finally prove and bring that trophy and keep it here in Florida. But listen, Slidell, that whole program is on fire, man. I mean, you're talking about from 7s to 10s, 11. They are loaded. So expect them to bring everything to the table at the 7 and under brackets.
Most definitely. Most definitely. I agree with you 100% on that one.
Now let's go ahead and slide over to the 8 and under action. Listen, on these comments, people, give me some of y'all predictions. Go ahead.
8U. All right, so another 10-team bracket. So we'll roll through the teams. We have the CD Jaguars out of Georgia. You have the Crew out of Texas. Fort Lauderdale Hurricanes, Florida. Bay Area Packers, Florida. Slidell Hurricanes, Louisiana. ABA Bulldogs, Georgia. Orlando Outlaws, Florida. Great Elite, New York. Duval, Florida. And the Maryland Heat, of course, from Maryland. 10 top teams, 10 top programs, all 10 teams nationally ranked. So that means you're looking at the top 15 in the country. 10 of the top 15 in the country are all right here in this bracket.
My man, this could be one of the most loaded brackets in football. I forget 8 in football. Like, there's 6 teams I see that can go anywhere and win anywhere in the country. So, to have them on one football field, man, I mean, listen, it's a blessing. I mean, to see these kids that I feel are definitely going to be playing each other on a collegiate level one day and through high schools, pay attention to this age group, man, and watch them as they grow up. Because I guarantee you, these 10 teams right here, these 8 teams, man, that's going to show you, 10 teams, this is going to show you the future of football right here, all over the country.
Most definitely. I'm super excited to watch this bracket unfold, because I think last year we had a great national championship game between the Crew and CD Jaguars. And I think this year, whatever 2 teams come through this gauntlet to meet at IMG Stadium for the national championship on that Friday, man, it's going to be well-deserved. So first round matchup that we're going to talk about, Duval Jaguars versus the Maryland Heat.
Okay, there you go. Maryland versus Florida. Off rip. Let's go.
Second matchup, Bay Area Packers versus the Slidell Hurricanes.
Woo! I love it. Run game against the air attack.
Orlando Outlaws versus Great Elite.
Oh, yeah. North versus South again. Florida against New York. Man, movie.
And then the last first round matchup that we're going to talk about, and it's a classic. It's a Florida versus Georgia battle. Fort Lauderdale Hurricanes versus the ABA Bulldogs.
Oh, man, they've had a lot of battles. Those 2 names, Fort Lauderdale Hurricanes and ABA, I wouldn't expect anything less from them, man. Of course, your 2 top teams have a bye in the first round, which is, of course, Lambeau and Crew. But, man, what a first day of action. That's all happening on Tuesday at IMG, December 8th, man. Get there. Get there. I'm telling you, get there. Straight action. Straight action. So let me see. Go ahead, people. Let me see y'all comments right now. Who wins the 8 and under national championship. Give us your predictions right now. We'll find the one that really makes sense and we'll post it up here on the internet so our producers start paying attention. We'll pay attention to those real close. And man, you see your boy Howard already starting Clay.
Man, you know what? Howard is his own worst enemy. Howard is his own worst enemy. He loves attention. He's so dramatic about everything. He's so dramatic.
Lord.
He got a 10-team bracket, and now he don't want to come. All right, Howard, don't bring your ass down here then.
Here we go, man. 9 and under action, man. Here we go. Switch it over to our 9 and under, which is another crazy bracket. This is a bracket that's giving people rankings. Anybody who's tried to decipher this all year is just trying to figure out like the Rubik's Cube of teams that's kind of gone to the top, shifted to the middle, going left and right. But what I can tell you, it's crazy competition right here. From top to bottom, we can name those top teams in the 9 and under division.
All right, so this is what we have here. Let's talk about the 8 teams that we have competing. Northside Pride out of Florida. Red Dog Unit out of Georgia. Cypress United down from Texas. Bowie Broncos from the DMV area. Falcons United from Georgia. Progress Village Panthers from Florida. Fort Lauderdale Hurricanes from Florida. And Southeast Dallas Wolverines from Texas. Man, this is a heavy bracket, Jonah. And the reason this is a heavy bracket is I don't think people understand. There's always different variances of what the national ranking should be across the country.
Right.
I have seen, whether if it's a Generation Next poll or any other poll, I've seen 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of these 8 teams all at number 1 in the country at one point during the season.
Correct.
So it's going to be interesting to see how this thing shakes out. It really is.
And that's what I'm excited about.
Let's jump into these matchups, though.
Yeah.
All right. Right out the gate. Northside Pride versus Southeast Dallas Wolverines.
Man, move out the gate.
Right out the gate, Jonah. Right out the gate.
Man, that's going to be a physical game between those two. Those two teams, really, no pun intended, but listen, both of those teams have a lot of pride. Southeast coming over all the way from Texas, coming to represent the Texas brand, taking on these boys from Florida, who's been the top-ranked team. Listen, I'm excited about that. I'll be on the sideline for that action.
You think that one's good? Wait till you hear this next one. Red Dog Unit versus Fort Lauderdale Hurricanes.
Wow. Georgia versus Florida, classic. Red Dog Unit, one of the best teams in Georgia. Of course, this Hurricanes team, defending national champs, it doesn't get better than that. I mean, there's so many backstories to that particular matchup that you can only expect a classic right there. I mean, listen, this film, you'll want to keep this for years to come. They'll be showing this on ESPN as you see one of these running backs or quarterbacks in Division I football when they play for a national championship.
Bowie Broncos versus, and let me say this, Bowie Broncos in their YNC debut versus FU Falcons United.
Oh, Lord. Well, you ask for it, you get it. They both wanted each other out of the gate. The football gods have lined it up from the rankings and seedings. So there you go. A classic, probably one of the most anticipated matchups of the YNC. Bowie Broncos against Falcons United out of the gate. Day 1 on Tuesday. What better football will you see than on this just a Tuesday? First day. We didn't talk about getting deep into the brackets. Jumping out of the gate, man. Amazing matchups.
And we're not even done yet. I got another one for you. Cypress United versus Progress Village. Texas versus Florida again.
It's too much I'm going to have football overload, man. I'm going to have to go like on a rehab after this week of football, bro, and just watch no football. Incredible matchup. Two powerful teams, two well-balanced teams, two teams that can run the ball off tackle, in between tackles, throw the ball. Man, a lot of matchups here that I got to tell you, when the dust settles on that Tuesday, Wednesday is going to be some special teams standing up. And listen, every down is going to count because these teams are so evenly matched. There's no one that you can come out here in the 9 and under and say this is the clear favorite to come out here and blow off anyone's door. You have to go out there and play football down for down to come out there with a win just to move on to the next round.
Exactly, exactly. And again, guys, like we said, as we go through these first round matchups, man, we're not telling you what side of the bracket any of these matchups are on. So this whole thing could be shaken up any way you want to see it. You want those details. You need at least one coach per team at the coaches meeting, maximum of 2 representatives per team per age group at the coaches meeting because of COVID guidelines. We'll go through all of this at the coaches meeting, along with much, much more important information that they need to know from the head referee and the whole process of everything on Monday night after their and team certification.
Absolutely. Now we'll go ahead and switch gears to the 10 and under action at YNC. And let's read them off, Clay. Yeah, and your big dogs at the top. This is one of those different age groups where there has been a favorite all year, defending national champs. Let's talk about the 10 and under brackets or 10 and under teams in the 10 and under bracket at YNC.
So you have Red Dog Unit out of Georgia. You have the Slidell Hurricanes out of Louisiana. Those were the national champion and national runner-up last year at the YNC. So they are back. RDU here to defend their title. Slidell feels like this is their time to shine. You have the Fairfield Vikings out of Alabama. Fort Lauderdale Hurricanes out of Florida. Falcons United out of Georgia. And the Lake Alfred Raiders out of Florida. And I'm going to tell you, Jonah, I've been hearing a lot of buzz about this Lake Alfred Raiders, man. A lot of buzz.
Well, and I got to tell you, listen, Central Florida and Duval and the North Florida hasn't really been getting the pub or the respect that, teams that they really feel they should get, and because there's always been so much attention on South Florida with the speed, South Florida with the quarterbacks. But listen, Mid-Florida and North Florida has caught up. Those teams, you better start paying attention because all of those teams from, Tampa, Duval, GTM, those teams of that nature, they're bringing a lot to the table, and they've adjusted to the South Florida speed. They've adjusted to play on a national schedule. So look for those teams to make some serious noise in the YNC all the way from the North Florida area. You better look out. It's just no longer South Florida on the map when it comes to Florida teams.
So as we jump into the bracket, of course, this is a 16 bracket, so your first 2 top seeds get a first round bye. So RDU and Slidell will get the first round bye. So that leaves for our first round matchup in the 10U level. Fort Lauderdale Hurricanes versus the Fairfield Vikings. Florida versus Alabama.
I love it. Great matchups, great coaching staffs, man, and it should be very interesting. That's going to come down to coaching. 2 very, very skilled coaches, man, with a lot of talent. I got to tell you, I don't know who will win that matchup. Again, outside of Red Dog being a favorite at the 10U, it's very equal after you get out there, and someone just has to play their best game to knock off the Red Dog, Red Dog unit, RDU.
Second first round matchup. Georgia versus Florida again. Falcons United versus the Lake Alfred Raiders.
Yeah, this is going to be Lake Alfred Raiders' first taste of national football, so a national youth football, I should say. And so we'll see if they're ready for the big stage. We'll see on Tuesday, all going down there. Hey, if they're ready, we'll find out, Clay, to make it to the next round or not. Hey, sometimes you got to get your feet wet. So we'll see how it goes down on Tuesday at IMG.
All right. So, rolling into 11U. Let's go and give the people what they want. I know a lot of people have been wanting to take a look at this particular group of teams. Louisville has been very, very dominant all year long. Number 1 in the country from the beginning of the season till today. But it's a lot of people on this list that feel like that they have what it takes to knock Louisville off. So as we roll through the list, of course, we have the defending YNC champions, the Louisville Chargers out of Kentucky. You have the Lauderhill Lions out of Florida, who were the champion of this age group 2 years ago. You have Vegas Strong out of Nevada. Pearland Hurricanes, boys down from Texas.
Yep,
Falcons United out of Georgia again. And Falcons United was the national runner-up last year.
that's correct.
DFW Elite Dogs out of Texas. Cincinnati Bearcats Elite out of Ohio. And the Progress Village Panthers out of Florida. 8-team bracket here. Lot of heat. The thing I like the most about this bracket, Jonah, you take these 8 teams and put them in any other event in the country, and they are hands down the
Yeah,
national champion. But they all came
yeah.
here to really play that hard competition.
And my dark horse is coming out of Cincinnati this year. Look out for Cincinnati Bearcats. A lot of people haven't had the chance to scout them, don't know what they look like. They don't know who their key players are, and that gives them an advantage coming here, not seeing them weekly. But they got a lot of talent there on that Cincinnati Bearcat team. And listen, Lauderhill Lions, they're playing excellent football. They played, of course, Louisville Chargers early this season, took a big loss. And, it really snowballed from them from the special teams. It wasn't so much from scrimmage. But listen, Louisville came out of the gun what they always do. 80-yard strike. You got Jihad that can strike on anybody, and Lauderhill Lions found that out, seeing their speed up front, tried to acclimate to it, and they let it snowball effect. But Lauderhill Lions have kind of tweaked that, and they're playing some good football. DFW Elite, taking a loss early in the year, coming back, playing strong football, very prideful coming out of Texas. And Pearland Hurricanes, that's 2 teams that out of Texas that can win a national championship at the blink of an eye.
So, looking at our first matchup in the first round, defending national champion Louisville Chargers versus the Progress Village Panthers. Kentucky versus Florida.
Yeah, that's going to be Progress Village's first taste of seeing that type of speed. And listen, they get to take on the champs coming out of the thing. You knock off the champs, the rest of the event and the rest of the tournament should be easy for you. Louisville, they're not looking over anybody. They're going to get their best game. Progress Village have to just be prepared to stop a multiple of number 1 and number 13. And then and just let the game settle down to them, let the game slow down and play football for 4 quarters.
Second first round matchup. And this is one, man, I'm excited to see. This is one I'm excited to see. You've got the national runner-up from last year, Falcons United, versus the DFW Elite Dogs, Georgia versus Texas. And this is a matchup that should have happened a couple years ago.
Man, movie. I like it. A lot of people say they didn't get to see Falcons United against a competition that they wanted to see them against in the regular season. Well, guess what? Day one, you'll see them go up against a very strong and competitive Texas team out the gate.
And I can tell you what, that DFW Elite team, they've got a young man by the name of Booby that is just all over the field. Defensively, he goes up, big, strong catches with his hands on the offensive side of the ball. It's going to be great because I know that Falcons United team is loaded with athletes, loaded with playmakers. It'll be great to see these 2 teams go head-to-head. Next matchup.
All right.
And I believe this is the game that you're going to be sitting at. Lauderhill Lions versus your dark horse, the Cincinnati Bearcats.
Man, why'd you have to make it so early, man? The Sparks are going to be flying. 2 competitive teams. Man, what a game. I don't think the Lauderhill Lions have really got a chance to watch the Bearcats and vice versa. But when I got to tell you, a lot of talent and a lot of team unity. Both of these teams play team football. You really can't name the superstars on each of them because they're so equally balanced across the football team besides kids like Nick and things of that nature. But, man, what a game. People, if you get the opportunity and you're just a fan of football, get down to IMG. You won't want to miss. These are crazy matchups. These are legendary matchups. These aren't just some things where, that's going to be a good game. No, these are legendary matchups you may never see happen again. Get down there and come and watch some football. Of course, we'll be live streaming selective games throughout the playdown. And, of course, all the national championship games will be streamed. But strategically, we'll bring you a lot of these matchups for free. No charge associated. But, man, I would encourage you, get down there, get in those stands, and just watch all this football. This is football heaven on a bunch of football fields in one place.
And then the final first round matchup, Pearland Hurricanes versus Vegas Strong, Texas versus Nevada.
Man, so now we have to see if Vegas Strong has bounced back from their game coming down here in Florida. That's going to be the test. How did you coach them up over the last couple of weeks? Did they solve all their problems? You already know Pearland Hurricanes is going to be a stout defense. They don't want to give up 1 yard. But you look on that Vegas Strong, they got a number 3 and a number 8 that's going to give you problems all over the football field. So it's going to come down to the psyche of both of these teams. Are they gelling at the right time? Are they acclimating to the travel? You're coming into Florida. You're seeing all the oohs and ahs. You're looking at all these big teams around. You're looking at a huge football field atmosphere. But at the end of the day, when that whistle blows, are you going to have the wherewithal to play 4 quarters of solid football?
It's going to be interesting, man. It'll be great to see how this thing shapes out. I think this is where whoever comes out of this 18 bracket, undisputably, top team in the country. It's not even up for debate.
100%.
All that other talk is just hearsay. Best team come out of this 11U. They're definitely number 1 in my book. So,
well, man, look, if you thought that was something, Clay, this next age group, 12
boy, oh boy,
bracket, man. Go ahead, flick and listen. When you go to this 12 and under, I'm going to say something to you crazy. The defending national champion isn't even playing in this 12 and under bracket, and this bracket is still straight fire. If I would have told you 2 months, 3 months ago, hey Clay, man, we're going to have a 12U bracket at YNC. Dream Team is not going to be in it this year. You were like, man, what are we doing then? That would have been the conversation. But listen, Dream Team, of course, they got knocked off in their playoffs in Georgia against Camo Swarm. Let's give you the backstory on it for people who just maybe just tuning in and just saying, hey, man, 12 and under. We're used to Dream Team running that age division. Well, they got defeated by Camo Swarm, and just like Coach Sean said, hey, man, listen, things unraveled for our team and teams dismantled. And we're not going to be able to compete this year at the end of the year. So, shout out to Coach Sean for really just giving us some great memories over the last 4 years. 3 national YNC championships back-to-back. Salute to him, man. We can't take anything away from that team and to those kids, man. They have some great accomplishments under their belt. Of course, we would have wanted to see them go out defending their national championship. But listen, that's all up to the coach and to those families. That's, part of it. But once again, salute to the Dream Team, man. And thanks for the memories that we had over the last 3 years.
Most definitely, man. Hell of a coach, hell of a squad, hell of a legacy they left, or they're leaving. So, like Jonah said, this 12U bracket is just it from top to bottom. Again, I feel like any one of these 10 teams go anywhere else in the country, they win a national championship. The question is, who's going to win it at IMG this year? LA Rampage from the West Coast. Long overdue. They should have come to us a couple years ago, but they are finally here. SYFL didn't have a season this year, so that opened up the door for them to come to the big stage. City Life Raptors out of the DMV area. Another dominant team. Dominated the season. I hear everybody talk about their defense, and how they fly to the ball. They decided to come to a more competitive stage this year, and I'm excited that they're here. Camo Swarm out of Georgia, Georgia State champion, the team that knocked off Dream Team. They are here to make a statement that they should be the number 1 team in the country. You've got Kansas City Outlaws riding on the arm of Kane Archer, arguably the best youth football quarterback in the country. They were the national runner-up last year, and this year they're coming to try to take the whole thing. You got the Grant Junior Pacers, another West Coast team that's been very, very dominant, that decided to do something a little bit different and come on down to IMG and play stiff competition. You have the Carroll City Chiefs, South Florida, representing the state of Florida. Bay Area Packers, another strong Florida team. Now, this team right here, Collar City Cowboys, I don't know a lot about them. All I know is that every post that I see this team on, people talking about how dominant they've been in Florida this year.
Right.
So it's going to be interesting to see how they handle it. World famous Jaguars out of Texas, another well-balanced team with a hard-running offense and a defense that'll hit you. And then Cincinnati Bearcat Elite out of Ohio again. There goes that organization again. So it'll be interesting. It'll really be interesting to see how this thing shakes up. So, of course, we know that the top 2 seeds are getting a first-round bye, which is going to be the LA Rampage and City Life Raptors. The question is, what are the other 8 teams doing in the first round? So I'm gonna give you one matchup right here, Jonah. You tell me what you think.
Let's get
Right
it.
out the gate, Georgia versus Florida, Camel Swarm versus Carroll City Chiefs.
Whew. Wow. Listen, a lot of people sleeped on Carroll City Chiefs because their quarterback got hurt early in this year, so they didn't really get to see the full offense. But listen, they have some excellent coaching over there. Coach Rowe has done it on all levels. He's a high school coach right now. He'll be balancing his time, going back and forth playing actually coaching high school at states and actually coming back and doing youth football. So their offense is very complex when they have their starting quarterback in, which they do now. So you'll see a different Carroll City team right now. But now you're talking about, man, a matchup it's a dream matchup. I mean, it's hard. Coming out the gate, man, this is what everybody wanted to see. This is what everybody wanted to see right here. And I can't go any which way, man. I can't wait to see the matchup. But I know what happens now out of the gate. Now it's going to set the tone for 12 and under.
Well, I got another matchup for you that might set the tone for 12 and under. KC Outlaws versus Grant Junior Pacers.
Man, West Coast action, man. Well, listen, great. The Packers have seen the Outlaws up close and personal when they were out there in Arizona. They know what this guy can do. But listen, they're very unpredictable because the Outlaws, as good as Kane is going to take them. I mean, he's one of the most dynamic players in there who extends the plays with his legs. He always looks downfield, doesn't stop with miracle passes. Coach Chuck can draw it which way he wants, but, this kid can improvise and make a broken play, a 90-yard touchdown in the blink of an eye. And not to mention, he's probably one of the fastest kids on the football team every time he takes the field. Grant Pacers, a solid football team defensively. Of course, Pacers, man, you've seen them on a lot of national broadcasts, right on AG Productions. They've played national football. They're used to stage. Another big stage football, two teams with two coaching staffs with big experience over here. Another toss-up. You can't say who's going to come out there with a win, but I got to tell you, dynamic football off rip.
Florida versus Texas. Bay Area Packers versus the world-famous Jaguars.
Well, Bay Area Packers, they say they are the dark horse in this competition. They say they have a team that can compete with anyone. Now, they haven't competed so much out of Florida. This is going to be their first time getting some out-of-Florida action against this Texas team. So this is going to be another one of those matchups where we got to pay attention. Are they ready for the big stage? All this stuff we'll see, but in the first or second quarter, can they acclimate to this fast action in this marathon of football, especially at this 12 and under brackets?
And then we're looking at College City Cowboys versus Cincinnati.
Man, physical football is all I can tell you. The Cowboys have one of the most talented running backs in youth football. And listen, CBE, they are tough. Tough, that's how they coach them. So you may say, oh, man, there's no football in Cincinnati. Man, you crazy. Cincinnati's going to come down here to bring the wood. So look for a physical football game. And this is where that marathon is so important for the longevity to go into those championship games healthy.
Most definitely. So that takes us over to 13U, huh? Well, you know what, Jonah? Why don't you ask the people who they pick out of this 12U bracket, especially with all the big names in it.
Big names. I mean, you got a dark horse with Carroll City Chiefs. Are they going to be healthy enough? Remember, Carroll City Chiefs at one time was a runner-up against Welcome All Panthers in championship football for 2 years. So you got to look for those teams. Before it was Kansas City Outlaws, it was the Carroll City Chiefs. Those are those same kids, just a little bit older. And then you got to look at, man, City Life Raptors, TJ and those guys and Coach Pat, man, what a job they've done with this team, man. This organization only a couple years old and being this dominant on a national level, man, a lot of people say that's the favorite coming in. Then you go to the West Coast, Rampage. They've shown you how dominant they can be by playing back-to-back games, coming out on wins, big wins that needed. The only loss they had earlier was who? To the Pacers earlier this year. So, man, this 12U, I mean, I'll look at it now. A lot of people saying City Life, CBE, Kansas City, East. I mean, I'm looking at these names. They're claiming it out, but I could tell you, I wouldn't want to go on record and say, hey, this is going to be the team out there. I just want to be some great football. and who can ever put together 4 quarters of mistake-free football, man, I got to tell you. But I do like the new faces. I do like the City Life Raptors. I do like Rampage. I like Carroll City coming back and trying to finally win the national championship after being there a couple of times. Cincinnati Bearcats coming out of Ohio. I want to see what they can table. And these 2 Florida teams, Collier City Cowboys and Bay Area, are they going to have enough? Brant Junior Pacers, don't sleep on them. They've shown you they are good enough to beat anybody on the schedule because they beat the number 1 team already. So 12 and under, man, it's up for anybody to grab.
Most definitely.
Oh, and don't sleep on Camo. How could I not sleep on Camo? Camo defeated, of course, the Dream Team. So look at all these backstories you have. You have a team that beat the number 1 team. You have Camo who knocked off the Dream Team. Man, that's another dark horse why wouldn't they be the national champs? If they can put up a team together to beat the Dream Team, why can't they beat anybody in this bracket? So 12 and under go anybody.
It'll be interesting. It's a deep bracket on this one. So rolling over to 13U. And again, I think 13U has kind of that same mystique to it that the 10U bracket has. We've got 6 teams, 6 strong teams, but like you said, one team's pretty much been dominating the rankings and dominating the country all year. And on 13U, you got to talk about the Rare Breeds out of Georgia. They've been pretty much dominating the competition, and it's going to be interesting to see who takes that challenge to dethrone these guys, defending YNC national champions. You got 6 good teams here. So starting off, you have Rare Breeds out of Georgia. You have Vegas Strong out of Nevada. You have the Maryland Seahawks out of Maryland. Winston-Salem Elite Indians out of North Carolina. The New Orleans Patriots out of Louisiana. And the Bay Area Pack out of Florida. Strong teams that, just like everybody else, you put them in another bracket, man, they come out as national champion.
Well, let's be honest, Clay. I mean, when you're a team like the Rare Breeds, basically they've played everybody on our top 15 list. Rare Breeds have played and defeated everybody. So when you look at that, and there's costs associated with playing in these games. You're talking about getting hotel rooms for a week and travel. You want some good results out of that, and not discounting any team that's played the Rare Breeds, but they got to look at that and say, man, do we feel we can compete? And a lot of teams made that decision. We're going to go up against the Rare Breeds again because when we played them, it was a substantial loss. So a lot of teams have taken that in consideration. So here's your bracket of teams that say, yeah, we feel we still can. I can feel we can take out the breed. So this is why you'll see these teams. They accepted the challenge. They're ready to go. And I expect, fireworks at this 13 and under division here at YNC.
So the number 1 and number 2 teams in the country will get a first round bye, which is going to be Rare Breeds and Vegas Strong. And our first round matchup, you've got Florida versus Louisiana, Bay Area Packers versus the New Orleans Patriots.
Man, you've seen the Patriots up close, Clay, and you like them. I like Bay Area. Bay Area's played a lot of 14U teams in their particular area, so they're used to playing fast and big, strong teams. This should be a very dynamic matchup. 2 teams that haven't seen each other all year. Excited to see this New Orleans take on the Bay Area Packers for first-round action.
Second first-round matchup, and this is going to be a game everybody's going to want to watch. Maryland Seahawks versus the Winston-Salem Elite Indians.
Well, and this is what this game is going to come down to, Clay. Has the Winston-Salem Elite scouted Maryland Seahawks offense? Now, a lot of people says, oh, man, I can't stand the Maryland offense. It's boring. It doesn't, teach or translate to the high school game, but it's a tricky thing to stop at the youth football level. Have a Red Breed kind of figured out, evidently from the last couple of times they've played, they've been successful at stopping that offense, but a lot of teams haven't. You can't see the ball. There's a lot of misdirection. So your linebackers, are they reading? Are they reacting? Are the linemen kind of, engaging? So they'll have to figure that out on the go fast. If they do, it's a football game. If it's not, it's not going to. If they can't, then it's going to get ugly. But Winston-Salem has a lot of talent on their side. Now, can Maryland Seahawks stop those kids from North Carolina? Seahawks are going to have their hands full. Winston-Salem has a lot of good receivers, a very, very dangerous quarterback. So listen, it's equal as both. Who can stop who? Look for this game to be a high-scoring game between the Seahawks and Elite, and let's see who can outlast each other when that goes down on the first round of NYNC.
And this may just come down to whoever, takes better care of the ball. Or in some cases, who has the ball last. That's what it may
Yep.
come down to. I think turnovers will be key. We're going to have some beautiful weather. So obviously that shouldn't play a factor into it. But ultimately, this is going to be probably the hardest game on day one to call. I mean, I think these two teams are very, very, very evenly matched. But again, like you said, that offense that Maryland runs, man, it makes it kind of difficult sometimes to put a bead on. So
Yeah, absolutely.
our final bracket, of the night, the 14U, which is, in my opinion, the strongest 14U 10 teams I've ever seen in one bracket. I've
Yeah.
ever seen.
A lot
You've
of
got
talent, man.
10. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. So you start off with the Fort
Wait, is there
Lauderdale
any
Hurricane.
undefeated teams in it? There's no undefeated teams here, right? This is all anybody's game here.
I don't believe there are any undefeated teams on this list. They all play
That
each
is
other and
correct.
beat each other.
Yep.
So
Yep.
we'll start with the Fort Lauderdale Hurricanes out of Florida. OG Ducks, defending YNC national champions out of California. Vegas Strong out of Nevada. Maryland Heat from Maryland. OC Buckeyes from California making their YNC
Oh yeah.
national championship debut. Northwest Huskies from the greater Seattle, Washington area. First year organization. They put a team together to make it all the way to the big show. You have the Upper Prospects from Nevada.
Another
CAA
debut.
Wildcats CAA Wildcats from North Carolina, a team that has gotten very, very, very hot the last 7 to 8 games of the season. Mississippi Wolfpack, they've been here before. And then the Tampa Jaguars, another team that has been on the YNC stage before at the national championships. 10 strong teams, Jonah. Which direction you go with this, man?
Man. I don't know when that dust settles, man. And that's all physical. These are all physical teams. When you look at them weight wise, you look at the Buckeyes, man, they average around 270, 280 across the line. Same thing with Huskies, a very big physical team. You look at the OG Ducks, man, they're just talented. You got Coach Keefe, who's been calling so many national games. I mean, I got to say, in the last 10 years, this guy's been in eight of the national championships. I think,
Yeah.
just remove 1 year playing the OC Buckeyes, but he's been there. So the experience is there. Mississippi Wolfpack, as of late, has been there every year in and year out. Upper Prospects, of course, we got to see if they can handle the national stage. But I got to tell you, a lot of teams with a lot of experience right here. And, of course, Coach Chris McGonigal, he's no stranger to national championships. He's no stranger to playing the Maryland Heat, defeated them earlier this year. And he's no stranger of playing the OG Ducks. So these teams are all familiar with each other, a lot of talent on the football field. This is going to come down to who can acclimate to being at IMG, managing your kids, staying healthy. How many games do you play? How many hours are you putting on their legs to be healthy for that national championship game?
Most definitely. So as we take a look at these brackets, 10-team bracket, so your top two seeds are going to get a first round bye, which is going to be Fort Lauderdale Hurricanes and OG Ducks. Now, I'm finna give you a banger, Jonah. Very first one, a banger.
Let's go, Puff.
You
Let's
ready?
go, Puff. Yeah.
Take that. Not Seahawks. Maryland Heat versus OC Buckeyes.
Wow.
West Coast versus East Coast.
Oh, I love it, man. Two teams that's very physical off rip. Two teams that's really traveling far to get there to come out of the slate, man. I gotta tell you, I don't know who wins that. It's good because it's all about matchups, right? So if you're talking about two teams, how they match up at the wide receiver position, how they match up in the trenches, two teams that aren't familiar with seeing each other, man, this is going to be some very feeling. It's going to be like two heavyweight fighters just kind of filling each other out. I'll be on the sideline for that game because it'll be an extraordinary matchup between the Maryland Heat and OC Buckeyes day one.
Mississippi Wolfpack versus Tampa Jaguars.
Well, listen, Florida versus Mississippi, two teams that play kind of physical football. Jaguars, man, have been to the national championship. They've been on the YNC field, so is Mississippi Wolfpack. This is going to kind of get some guys with familiar territory. Going to come down to coaching. Come down to coaching, man, who goes to that next round out of those two teams.
Vegas Strong versus Northwest Huskies.
Woo, man. Well, listen, these two teams are familiar with each other. On the West Coast, they've been beating each other up left and right. They're going to feel right at home all the way on the East Coast. You know, Huskies coming, of course, up out of the Northwest area, and, of course, Vegas coming out of the Vegas area. So two teams that's kind of familiar with each other. They've scouted each other. They've played against teams that played against each other. Another exciting round of football. Day one. Sheesh, man. It's movies everywhere.
And we can't forget Upper Prospects versus CAA Wildcats.
North Carolina versus the boys coming out over there in Vegas area. Listen, I know CAA, they're excited to be here. They want the challenge. I've talked to those coaches. This is their dream come true. So you can expect them to come out with everything and all the power. And of course, Upper Prospects say we belong in the national conversation. We want to show people. So you got two teams that really have something to prove, chip on their shoulder. Expect sparks to fly day one on this 14 and under division.
Most definitely, most definitely. So it's going to be a good one. It's going to be a good one.
So, Clay, you know, is there anything you want to tell these teams as they coming into there's some questions. Everybody's been sending me messages. How much is it to get in? Is it a weekend pass available? You know, can we answer some of those questions right now for everybody so they can go ahead and communicate it to their families?
Most definitely, most definitely. So there is no weekend passes, guys. And the reason there's no weekend passes is because everybody doesn't play every day. So we're not going to charge people for days that they're not going to use. You would need to get a new pass every day. The weekly rate, the daily pass for adults is going to be $15. The daily pass for children ages 4 to 10 is going to be $10, and children 3 and under will be free. So again, $15 for adults and children 11 on up. And then, of course, children 10 to 4 will be $10, and 3 and under is free.
And I know touchy situation. People need to come in with masks. You know, it's COVID. What's the deal with that?
I got you. Oh, you want it all? I'm sorry, Jonah. My bad. So this is what you have to do, people. First off, you need to get with whichever team you're affiliated with. You need to talk with the head coach or the team manager and get a parking pass. The parking passes have been emailed out to every single person or every single head coach or team manager of the team. These parking passes are going to allow you to get on to the campus, so you will be able to join the event. Because what we have to realize is that this is a boarding school with 1,400 students in it. So they're not just going to let anybody, pass security guards onto the campus. Additionally, there are certain specific areas that you can park in, and they will have security people around the campus showing you where you can and can't park. The campus is completely closed off. There will be no touring of the facility. There will be no going inside the bookstore. There will be no going inside of the athletic training facility that they have. You would strictly be limited to the fields that we're playing the games on and those surrounding areas. Again, we have to realize they're trying to keep cross-contamination of their 1,400 boarding students down in this COVID pandemic. Everybody will be required to wear masks. There will be sanitizer set up at the entrances so you can sanitize. You will have to have your band on. Our staff will put bands on you. Our staff will have on gloves. They will be sanitized. They will have masks. The entire time you're in the facility, you will have to wear your mask, even as a spectator. Only people that can take off their mask are going to be athletes when they are on the football field. When they're not off the football field, their mask needs to be on. Coaches, you must wear a mask to coach from the sideline. You can pull your mask down to say what you need to say and then put it back up, but you will have to wear a mask. This will be enforced very heavily, not only from the YNC staff, but also the IMG staff and the security and police department that we'll have around. We need to make sure that we're doing everything we can to keep everyone safe through this entire event, so everyone can continue to enjoy some great football. From Tuesday to Saturday.
Right.
Games on
Okay. And
Tuesday,
then
Wednesday, and Thursday. These are going to be multi-purpose fields. These are going to be football fields and soccer fields that have been painted. So there are not a lot of bleachers out there. If you have a lawn chair, if you need a lawn chair, bring a blanket. You're going to have to view these particular games from the sideline around the field view. We will have barricades and roping set up to make sure that you do not cross too far into the field of play. Once the teams make it to the national championship on Friday and Saturday, then we will be in the stadium and you could take advantage of the stadium seating, at the IMG complex. Additionally, let's see if there's anything other important. We will have full concession there. IMG has some food trucks that'll be coming in, so there'll be plenty of options for you. Everybody always asks, is Kareem and Curtis going to be there with the battle tents? The battle tents will be there. They will be set up so you can buy all the battle merchandise your heart desires. We'll have everything full scale, 100% for you. Athletes, parents of athletes, your son needs to bring a water bottle or a drinking bottle. Our partnership with IMG and their partnership with Gatorade, there will be plenty of Gatorade and water in the coolers on the sidelines for the kids. Obviously, but due to COVID, there won't be any water bottles handed out. So your son can fill his water bottle up and then drink from it. Again, Gatorade and water for all the kids, set up for us by Gatorade, and we really appreciate their partnership and their sponsorship in doing that. But you need to bring your own bottles for that as well.
Thursday, anything going on special Thursday before championship weekend?
So it's a couple different things we got going on Thursday. First off, Thursday will be the day that we have all the consolation championship games. So the teams that may have lost their first game, but they've won on out, they'll be able to be crowned consolation champion and take home a dope trophy with them. But our teams that have won from the beginning to the end now, and they're going to be playing for the national championship either on Friday or on Saturday, we'll be having a live press conference in the Legacy Ballroom following all the games. We'll interview a few select players and coaches from the two 6U teams playing for the national championships, 7U, 8U, 9U, 10U, 11U, 12U, 13U, and 14U, and ongoing. And I'm telling you, it's going to be experience for these kids that they'll never forget. And I don't want to give too much away, Jonah, but the setup we have for this press conference, man, these kids are going to feel like they're true NFL players. I mean, everything is top notch. If I explain it too much, man, I'm going to give too much away. Just know that the YNC, Battle, Generation X, Under the Radar, all our Brayton and Sports area, everybody's come together to create a environment for these kids, man, that's second to none.
All right. And then championship days are what days?
So 6U, 7U, 8U, 9U, and 10U. Those 5 age groups national championships will be played on Friday. 11U, 12U, 13U, and 14U. All of your national championship games will be played on Saturday. All national championship games will be at IMG Stadium. All national or both days, whether if it's a Friday or a Saturday, it's going to be the same rate, $15 for admittance, $10 for children, 3 and under for free.
Right. All right, man.
So now, one thing before you go any further, Jonah, I have to talk about parents, coaches. There is a zero tolerance for violence. Zero tolerance. I came in early, met with all the officials at IMG, and I can tell you exactly what they said word for word. Clayton, if you and your YNC officials can break it up, then they need to be removed from the facility. If the IMG officials or the police department have to get involved to break it up, they are going to jail. So that's it, guys. I mean, it don't get no cleaner than that. I'll repeat it again for everyone to understand. If the YNC officials have to break up a fight, you'll be escorted out of the facility. If the IMG officials or the police have to break up a fight, you're going to jail. So guys, let's just do the right thing, man. This is a great atmosphere for these kids. We want to create the most memorable moment for them. And I get it. We're all passionate about sports. We're passionate about our kids. We get caught up in the moment sometimes, but we got to take a step back and realize this is just youth football. Sometimes it doesn't get that serious, man. So let's not. Hopefully, nobody will let it go there. We're gonna do everything we can to make sure it doesn't go there, and everybody can enjoy this week of great, great football from these very talented kids, these unbelievable teams without any incidents.
Yeah, and speaking of that, and listen, I know weed is legal in a lot of states. Florida is not one of them. Let me just repeat that. Weed is legal
Hey,
in a lot
and
of
if it
states.
was legal,
Florida is
if it
not
was
one
legal,
of
I
them.
can guarantee you it's not legal on IMG's campus. So,
Right. You feel me? So I know we have some parents that feel they could just slide off in the cut and just give the aroma around the 7U and the 6U and the 8U kids like it's all good. Man, again, like Clay said, piggybacking on that, this is about them. This is their weekend, man. Us as adults, we just help facilitating it and put everything in order for them. But this is the kids' weekend. It's not ours, man. So let the kids have it. Again, if the weed smoke is in the air, IMG police will be there, and we don't want you to have to spend your weekend or your week in jail where you're not really enjoying the games like you should be.
Exactly. So I know some people have been asking about the IMG or the COVID guideline of 2 spectators per athlete. So guys, this is what we have to remember. We need to keep everything within moderate. Even though you're coming in with your mask on, you still need to practice social distancing while you're in the venue. Now, we're not trying to turn anyone away. Kids 10 and under, we're not worried about their numbers of attendance. We're more looking at adults. Ideally, what we want to do is we want to the game start times are going to be staggered. So half the facility, their first start game will be at 8 o'clock, where the other half of the facility, their first start game will be at 9 o'clock. So therefore, half the facility will be exiting when one game starts, and vice versa, back and forth. What we're trying to create is to make sure we stay under the number that IMG gave us at the facility at one particular time. And if we execute this CDC plan to perfection, which I know we will, we won't have any issues. So don't worry about the limit. I mean, if mom, dad, grandma, cousin, uncle, aunt all came down, they want to see it, they'll be able to come in and watch the game. You let us worry about that. Just help us by staying within those COVID guidelines that we have set for everybody's safety.
Yeah, man. And once again, we encourage you guys to come out, man. It's just it's gonna be a vibe, man. The whole week is definitely gonna be a vibe. Again, just to kind of reiterate those days. Monday, of course, is gonna be team check-in, registration, coaches meeting. Tuesday is, of course, first weekday of the top games, like what we just mentioned earlier in these brackets. Wednesday, of course, teams continuing and play. Thursday, continuing play as we get to those final 4, and Friday and Saturday is going to be national championships. And Sunday, man, y'all relax and head back home. Great week of football, and really just enjoy and embrace these national championship times. And of course, we always talk about what the kids get. I'll let Clay kind of bring it up now, since it's getting close to that time, what the players receive after winning the national championship. We think it should be bigger than just a trophy and a ring. And listen, we're not comparing to what anyone else does. This is what we want to do for the kids, because we know it's about the kids for us.
Oh boy, you
I
being
don't want
real
to get
nice
attacked
today,
on the
ain't you?
internet, afterwards. These people would be,
All right, so
just
I'm gonna
trying to
take
do
Jonah's
us.
lead. I'm gonna take Jonah's lead, guys. I mean, again, we're not trying to compare ourselves to anyone else or what anybody else does, but we do pride ourselves in making sure that we do more for the kids than anyone else does, despite what they may try to say on social media. So, what do our national champions get? The national champions get a national championship ring. They get a national championship necklace. The coach is going to walk away with a huge crystal national championship trophy. We're going to hand out MVP awards. We're going to do something a little bit different this year. So with each MVP award this year, we are going to have our trophy guy customize the plate to have their name on it. So they'll get the MVP award. They'll take pictures with it, and then boom, we'll have the award shipped to the house with the name on it. So therefore, it can be more specialized, more personalized for each player. Our championship teams get custom national championship T-shirts. They get custom battle uniforms. The coaches get custom battle coaches gear. Plus, tons of accessories from Battle for the entire team. Gloves, we're talking about gloves, mouthpieces, sleeves, back plates. I mean, you name it, Battle's got it. They're going to send it to the kids for being national champions. These are the things that we're doing. If you look at a total package, dollars worth, you're talking about looking about around $20,000 that it's going to these kids from winning the national championship. Not to mention all of the Battle commercials, all of the under the radar videos, all of the Generation Next media. I mean, this is where we really put a spotlight on this. And again, I told you guys early in the year, there's something big coming through the pipeline for these national champions. Obviously, we're still working on it. I can't give specifics on it right now, but when it drops, you're going to be glad that you took the time and effort and money to get your kid to the YNC so they can be national champions.
Absolutely, man. We just want to salute and thank everybody. We don't take, what you guys do for granted. We want to thank for all the teams that locked in with us and believe in the vision. We want to thank all the communities nationwide from the East Coast or West Coast for locking in with us. So now it's time for us to repay that loyalty. It's time, to shut up or put up. So we definitely want to make sure you guys enjoy it. Take advantage of all the areas in Bradenton, man. Get out to the beach. The weather's going to be amazing from the forecast that we have in all this week. And just stay safe, man. Let's just make sure we work through this pandemic. Let's just follow those rules, wear your mask, and let's stay safe. Let's kind of, limit anything that we're doing outside of football, man. Just enjoy it. Let's celebrate these kids, celebrate these teams. It's been a lot just to make it to this place where they're at now. Just to make it to championships. We will be live streaming the entire weekend. You can tune in on YouTube on AG Productions. Also, you can tune in on Generation Next Facebook and AG Productions Facebook as well. And then we'll also have our individual guys that's out there. You'll have word on the street. All those things will funnel in. We'll share through Generation Next. Through all of our different partners. Under the Radar is going to be recapping. Of course, Clay and I will be doing a daily Rankings Uncut. So as we wrap up today, we'll just kind of be breaking down the teams, what were the matchups, who were the winners. So if you missed any of the action, we'll have a daily Rankings Uncut, wrapping it up every night, right from Bradenton on IMG. So, we're gonna make sure that you guys are well informed. And again, give these kids all the love and all the pub they need. They deserve it, bro. So it's time to go ahead and put it out there, and let's keep these kids off the street, and let's give them a platform where they could be celebrated.
So one more thing I want to touch on. So guys, the importance of Monday and the certification process. So let's talk about it. Player and team certification is going to be at the Legacy Hotel ballroom, which is right on the edge of the IMG Academy. These are the specific times. These are the times for every age group to get in and get out. If you miss your time, you're going to have to wait until a slot opens. So again, we need to take care of this on Monday night, because what happens on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, you guys show up late, whether if it's one person or the whole team, you guys are going to have to wait. And it's a good chance that, with myself and my staff running the event, we won't be able to certify you. You might as well take advantage of it on Monday when you've got 12 people certifying, then during the week when you've only got one person certifying, which is myself. So 6U teams certify Monday at 3 p.m. 7U teams, their certification starts at 3:35 p.m. 8U teams, certification starts at 4:10 p.m. 9U teams, certification starts at 4:45 p.m. 10U teams, certification starts at 5:20 p.m. 11U teams, certification starts at 5:55 p.m. 12U teams, certification starts at 6:30 p.m. 13U teams, certification starts at 7:05 p.m. And 14U teams, certification starts at 7:40 p.m. The mandatory coaches meeting starts at 8:30 p.m. Coaches, you need to have at least one representative from your team at the meeting. If more than one coach wants to come, that's fine, but only 2 from the team. So if you've got 3 different age groups here, then that means you can have 6 coaches from your organization. But because of COVID guidelines, we don't want any more than 2 coaches at the coaches meeting. This is where you're going to learn about the field assignments and field times. This is where you're going to be able to speak with the head ref and answer all questions. And this is where you're going to also find out what the entire bracket looks like, what side of the bracket you're on, and you'll be able to ask myself and the YNC officials all the questions that you want, so that way we can make sure everybody's on the same page before games start. Again, the more information we get out there, the better it is for these kids and for these games to run smoothly come Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday.
Yep, and that's it, man. That's some good stuff. So, guys, thanks for tuning in tonight. We didn't want to keep you up too long. Of course, the rankings is all over. We don't care what you rank right now. Everybody's ranked 0. You have the opportunity to come in and be a national champion no matter what. So that goes out the window. Nobody back bragging this week. Oh man, we ranked number 2. Man, we ranked number 3. You could just throw it out the window. Everybody has an opportunity right now to be a national champion of those names of those teams that we've released tonight. Of course, everybody's asking, can we post those brackets so they can put them out there? Man, listen, go ahead, and once we do this, you can rewind the show, go to your particular age group, and you can listen to it. Next time that you'll hear these brackets or when the coaches meeting, that'll be in hard writing, and then we'll show those brackets from there. Well, we want to thank you guys for tuning in to Rankings Uncut. The next time you'll see Clayton and I face together, that will be from IMG Stadium. And we'll be wrapping up the first night of Tuesday night action, which, man, I don't know, man, Clay, I don't know how we're going to put it together after that day of football. A lot of people, national dreams will be crushed that first day, and half of those teams will be moving on to the next stage.
I hear you. I hear you. Look, man, I'm not even gonna say it, Joe. I mean, it just is what it is. I'm not even gonna say it because I know what you're trying to do. You're trying to throw this alley oop and you want me to dunk it, and then I'm gonna start this whole uproar on social media. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. Hey, man, come out to IMG if you want to see the action. Come out to IMG.
Oh, man. Hey, it's going down, man. December 7th through the 12th. It's finally here. Get there on Tuesday, people. Get your tickets. Get inside that stadium. You won't want to miss the action. Clay said he's going to be throwing a parents meet and greet at one of these Airbnb homes. Y'all hit Clayton up, man. He'll get y'all the info. All white party is going down. Parents and coaches show up at Clayton's Airbnb, man. BYOB. You feel me?
Oh, yeah. No doubt. No doubt.
We'll see you out there, man. Thanks again for tuning in, man. Of course, my man.
Before we cut, Joe, I got
go ahead.
two people so one lady asked about the parking passes. So again, you get the parking passes from your head coach or team manager on the team, whoever received the email of your invitation. That parking pass needs to be printed out and placed in your car. It's how you're going to get access onto the campus at IMG. Again, this is a boarding school, so they're not going to let anybody on the campus, especially during school days. These kids are still in school while we're having our event. And then the other question was, is this a win or go home tournament? It is not a one and done event. If you lose the first day, or if you lose your first game, you go into a consolation bracket in which if you keep winning, you will win a consolation trophy. Now, if you win day one and you lose in round 2 or 3, then you're done. It's a 2-game guarantee. Once you get to your second game, then at that point it's win or go home.
That's it, man. Win or go home is the theme. We'll see you definitely. We will definitely not be going home. We'll be heading to IMG. We'll see you this Tuesday, God willing. Rankings Uncut. I'm Jonah Willard, Clayton Gallery. And next time you see Alfred AG, he will be on the East Coast giving you some of the most exciting action on AG Productions and Generation X. Thanks for tuning in. Same place, same time next week. Nope, Tuesday is going down here for the recap on Rankings Uncut.